We live in a world that is conditioned to see the worst in people. They're like, I'll feel better about me based on what I see wrong in you. And that's kind of messed up, isn't it? Like, I'm going to walk around looking for what's wrong in people. Aren't you glad God doesn't do that? Like, aren't you glad that God just doesn't walk around and be like, hey, let me point out all the things that are wrong in you? I'm so thankful that God sees the best in me and who I can become through his grace, not what I've been by my own ignorance. To make my point, I'll tell you two stories. One story from the book of John, from the scriptures, and one from Starbucks. In John chapter 8, and I love this story so much because in a lot of ways it reminds me of my mom. And my mom, she passed away almost 1 year ago to the day. And then my dad, 2 months and 5 days later, passed away after her. Married for 56 years. And I preached both of their funerals. This is the first time that I've preached since that funeral. But as I think about my mom, she always saw the best in people. It didn't matter who, it didn't matter what. Like, you could burn some biscuits and they're just black as a hockey puck. And she'd be like, oh, this is a really interesting recipe. Tell me about this. Where did you get that? She always saw the best. I had some heathen friends, boy. They were just, I wasn't, but they were. And she always welcomed them into our home. And she loved them. Those heathen friends are walking with Jesus and leading their families today. She always saw the best in people the way Jesus did. The way Jesus saw the best in this woman in John chapter 8. Maybe you know the story. Jesus had been out doing his Jesus thing, loving the unlovables, healing the unhealables, hanging out with the unhangoutables, completely flipping the script on everything everyone knew about God and faith and religion. And one day he was in the temple teaching when the religious experts, the Pharisees, they brought in this woman who was caught in adultery. And they drug her in straight from the home across town, drug her in and slung her in front of Jesus, right in front of the church. Can you imagine? Not only being caught in adultery, but being drugged and humiliated throughout the town, naked, chasing after these men as they hurl insults at you, and then taken to church and thrown in front of the preacher. This dude says he's God, thrown right there. And they say, the Bible says we ought to stone this person. Jesus, what do you say? And they didn't care nothing about the woman. They didn't care anything about the scriptures. What they really cared about was getting rid of Jesus. And Jesus in this moment, when all of the eyes are there and they're looking, what is Jesus going to say? Nobody would have stopped him if he would have said, throw the stone. Nobody would have stopped him. Yet in the face of that, Jesus did something different. He took a knee. And the Bible says he began to just draw in the dirt. And the Bible doesn't tell us what he drew in the dirt. It just says that he drew in the dirt. And I can only imagine that as he was drawing, the Pharisees, they were, hey, Jesus, hey, we're talking to you. Hey, give us an answer. And he just kept drawing. And I don't know why, but I kind of can't help but think that maybe he was just waiting until every eye was on him and every eye was off of her. And then he looks up and says, let you without sin cast the first stone. And he begins to draw again in the dirt. One by one, they file out until it's only Jesus and the woman who's caught at her worst moment. And he says, where are they? Does no one condemn you? And she says, no one. And he says, then neither do I. Now go and sin no more. He could have saw the worst in her. He could have saw all of her mistakes. But instead, he saw who she could become. And he loved her. And he sent her out with a new purpose.
Hey, thanks for watching. To find out more about Houston's First, you can subscribe to our channel or you can go to houstonsfirst.org.